Hey guys, this is Charlie, and what you're going to be seeing is my walkthrough of my place summer 2026 after just finishing the front room. Okay, so I am Charlie, and this is Starla right there. I am a vet tech student, I am also a writer, and I am a collector. This is my home CWR Productions, so I got this placemat right here. Haunted Mansion, Our Tour Begins. I got a Sleepwalker poster right here, commissioned by Shout Factory for their Blu-ray release of Sleepwalkers, which is pretty awesome. I definitely feel like that poster depicts the movie perfectly. Okay, moving on up right here. This is new right here. This is my Kiki's Delivery Service door sign that I put on my door right here. I had a wreath there originally from Spirit Halloween, but I took it down to put this guy up. Okay, there's my Toys R Us sign right there. Alright, so got a couple different things up here. That is my first celebrity crush right there, Eliza Dushku, Faith from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That is Jack Nicholson and Michael Keaton right there. That is the band Portishead right there. And then right inside there, there's also a picture of Alice Cooper, shock star Alice Cooper, with Jason Voorhees from Jason Lives. And that is my favorite singer of all time, Tom Petty, right there on that corner. Okay, I'm going to work my way down right here. So what we got right here is my Ectomobile display here with the T-1000 facing off against the Howling Werewolf. Werewolf from the Howling. Moving down right here. What we got is a picture of the band The Warning right here. They're a band from Mexico. They're one of my favorite bands. I really like the synergy of them playing as a group. I like their style because they are, in real life, they are sisters. So they play really well off of each other because they're sisters, and they really have this sound that plays off so well because of their family familiarity with each other. And then right over here is Mary Tyler Moore beside them. I've been kind of getting into watching 70s shows right now. I'm almost done with the Mary Tyler Moore show. Just because with everything going on in the world, I needed something that was kind of light and fluffy and not political. And Mary Tyler Moore won. Right over here we have Laura Lavella from the Terrifier movies, Terrifier 2 and 3. She plays Sienna Shaw. So coming down right over here, what we have is my Crypt Keeper doll right here. Talking Crypt Keeper vintage. Moving down right here. This is an art piece that I got from Frankensons outside of the LA area industry. That's Poison Ivy right there from DC Comics. That is my favorite X-Men right there, Gambit. My absolute favorite X-Man. And that is my Elvira wall sign right there. And my Krampus wall sign, both from Spirit Halloween. And that's the cat tree right there. Right now we got Jaws playing on the screen right now. That movie inspired me to really appreciate movies when I was young, and also got me into wanting to write. So that's why it's playing right now, and plus it's July 5th, so it was the perfect 4th of July movie for me. What we have here is a few more Shout Factory posters right here, so that's a commission piece for Big Trouble Little China. That is the poster art for Army of Darkness, and then that is a commissioned Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight. Those three posters right there, they will always be over my TV. Got a couple figures right here. Got my Bat Gremlin right there. That guy is so awesome. Toby Spider-Man, Accomplice Ignatus Compy. Working my way down right here. Got the vinyl stack right here. So these are my favorite bands of all time. We got Tom Petty and Heartbreakers right there. Right over here, we got the Doors. Okay. Next up, right here, I'll go with this one actually. We got Portishead right here. Swell. Right here, we got Depeche Mode right there. Okay, working my way over here. Next up, what we got? Alice Cooper right here. So Alice Cooper. We got a couple, not necessarily favorite bands, but just banger albums right here. So you got like Third Eye Blind, Fugees, Garbage, and then right here, another favorite band, Cannons. Newer band like The Warning. Speaking of The Warning, Warning right there. And then a couple other different guys right here. That's my Michael Jackson Thriller album. Hey, Roxetta. In case I didn't make it clear enough, I am an awesome cat dad. I have 3 cats. They are my children of the corn. Okay. And a couple other guys right here. So Prodigy, Underworld, and just a bunch of different soundtracks that I, of course, view as banger albums. Stack of movies that I'm kind of currently going through right now. And that is my Creepshow VHS and Deadpool plush right there. So what we have right here, that's my Evil Dead collection right there. That is the DC collection right there. DC animated, Marvel, Walt Disney. Right over here, we got the Fox X-Men series right there. And a couple other Alien. So many Alien films as well. Right over here, we got Hitchcock. And also, we got Star Wars as well. And the Austin Powers series right there as well. Couple of my favorite actors right here. So you got Al Pacino, you got Tom Hanks, you got Leo, and you got Bruce Lee. And then also, right over here from Shout Factory, you have the Roger Corman collection and a couple reference books next to a Jurassic Park egg. So right over here, what you got is another Shout Factory poster. This one is for Night of the Demons. Right over here, what you have is a poster for a kung fu movie called The Invincible 8. And that was released by 88 Films. Moving down right here, that's a Spirit Halloween Curse of Michael Myers pumpkin light. Right there, Bob-omb and Superman. My absolute favorite superhero, Superman. Right here is a Mogwai. Given to me by my friend Danielle as a Christmas gift 2 years ago. He's awesome. As you could probably tell, Gremlins is one of my... Gremlins 2 is one of my favorite Gremlins movies among the 2. And of course, that's why I also started with a Gremlin prop back there. And there was also a poster for Gremlins 2 right there as well. So these are kind of like reference books right here. Okay, we'll start down here. Okay, these are my favorite movies of all time. I'm not going to go through each one of those titles. You can see. And that is my Ben Affleck Batman mask right there. Okay. So what we have right here, the first of many corners with pictures of my friends. So we have the Thing certificate from my backer credit from the Thing Expanded. We got Tom Hanks with the Crypt Keeper puppet. Tales from the Crypt is one of my favorite shows of all time. Actually, my favorite show of all time. It was kind of like the gateway into horror for me. I was at the right age for Tales from the Crypt. Syndicated version, because I believe if that was 94, when they started syndication, I would have been about like 10 years old. Okay, and that's, of course, Tom Hanks right there. That's my friend Electra right there. That's my friend Sabrina, and that is my best friend Danielle right there. And then, of course, right over here, we have the princess. Hi, princessa. And my friend Amber and Whitney right there. And then another art piece from Frankensons for the Warriors right there. These women, they inspire me. So I have a few different corners with pictures of them. And then right up here, what we got is my reference section right here. So these are reference books right here for different things that I've currently studying right now. Those are my writer's books right there. And a couple figures on the side right there. So you got Starlight, Marty Jr., Doc Brown. And right over here you got Freddy, Michelle Pfeiffer, Catwoman, Uma Thurman, Poison Ivy, and again, Brina. Okay, so we got a retro Spider-Man black suit up there. We got a Jubilee from Kotobukiya. We have my Jaws 50 collector cup. We have a Mondo Venom up there on that corner. This is the plush wall of horror right here. So what you have is Leatherface, Jason, Freddy, and Michael. Pinhead Michael. Okay, I'm going to move down. That's the Nightbreed poster from the Shout Factory release of their Blu-ray. The Director's Cut Blu-ray. And a couple other little guys there. We're going to move right over here real quick. So another Shout Factory poster right here for Transformers the movie. Another commissioned art piece right there for their 4K. Moving up right here. What you got on that side right there is Typo Negative for their album Slow, Deep, and Hard right there. I really like that picture because that, to me, kind of solidifies them as like the anti-Beatles, kind of. That just feels kind of like a Beatles shot to me. And it's perfect. And it's right there. A couple of my masks right there. We got a Leatherface, and we have the Jason from Jason Goes to Hell. Okay, moving over here real quick. We got a Ghostbusters sign right there. We got an Avril album Funko right there. And we have an Evil Dead VHS. Now, a little side tangent here with that. So that album, Let Go, that came out my senior year in high school. And it just kind of defined that summer for me, that particular album. So I have a couple of little corners with Avril stuff. That particular album in particular, it's a definition of me at that period in my life in high school. So that's why I have a few of those guys around there. So right over here, my figure collection, these are Spider-Man mixed in with a little bit of X-Men right here. Right over here, we got my Alien books right here. Titanosaurus Funko right there from Jurassic World Rebirth. Jack Burton Q figure. Kotobukiya Wonder Girl. Black suited Spider-Man, Sandman behind him, and my favorite Spider-Man iteration, which is Gwen Stacy, Spider-Gwen. And of course, the icon Elvira right there. Also from Frankenson's art print right there. That is my friend Sonia with her daughters right there. Okay. This right here is my writing desk right here that I just basically created for myself. I moved the writing desk from right here, or actually from over here, where this corner is now, to right here to give myself a little more space to be able to write and to not be distracted by the TV. So I'm facing away from the TV now instead of looking right at it as I'm trying to write. I've had writer's block for a couple years now, and I recently got over it. The creative juices are flowing again. I'm working on something special right now, hopefully to eventually get released into a theater, because I would love to see something I wrote get into a theater. I know everybody has that dream for themselves. They would like to see something that they wrote in the movies. Writing is a hobby of mine. It defines who I am. So me not writing, me also not pursuing vet teching, because I recently switched now from rad tech back to vet tech, because I started that before COVID hit in 2020, and I want to go back and finish it now. I feel, and this is kind of something that a friend, a very special friend in my life, kind of brought out in me. She and I want to do something with my life where I feel I'm reaching my full potential and I'm doing something that I'm happy with. And that is, for me, vet teching, being a vet tech, and also being a writer. That's why the creative juices in my writing are flowing again, because my friend got me through. She got me through stuff. So I am forever thankful to her for that. She is an amazing woman, and I'm glad that she is in my life. She's awesome. So we got a couple figures here. Another Remy LeBeau right there, Gambit. My Studio Series Devastator right there, with the Count from Sesame Street, and Arnold Mr. Freeze. Come on, freeze well. Okay, and right over here, what we got is a Laura X-23 Hot Toys figure right there. And she is holding the head of Michael Myers right there. And then behind her is an Elvira figure. And my John Nada wearing an Obi-Wan Kenobi cloak from They Live. Because why not? Why shouldn't he be in a cloak? This is another little corner that I did today right here. So swapped out a big display of figures that was right here, and just kind of spread it out a little more. So we have another Kochubyaku figure, Batwoman right there. We have the Brain Gremlin from Gremlins 2. We have Hot Toys, Mondo, Poison Ivy from Batman the Animated Series. You got Thundercracker right here from Transformers, with Mew Mew from Thor. That. Thundercracker with Mew Mew from Thor. And that is the Spider-Man animated series, 1994. Peter Parker Spider-Man right there. And that's She-Ra right there. That is the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man right there, with Dr. Jones right there. My Vet Tech library section right here, close to my writing desk. I'm so grateful that I created this space for myself right here, where I can write, have a little more space, not feel as distracted because the TV is next to me right there. And these are some of my favorite movies, documentaries right here. Some figures right here that I need to put in a case, like right over here. One of these cases. I got another one of those coming, and that's where that's going to fit in right there. So those figures are going to go inside of that case. A couple other kind of Shout Factory tiles right there. Some Alfred Hitchcocks right there. My favorite Italian Giallos. And some Studio Ghibli favorites right there. And then that is an Ellen Ripley Funko right there. Ellen Ripley is my favorite strongly written female character. And that's why her Funko goes specifically right there. So these vinyls right here, some of my favorite bands from high school, Metallica, Offspring, and Avril Let Go. And then I ended it with Paramore, Riot. That is Curly's mask from Goosebumps right there. And then beside him is the metal section. So I got Pantera, Slayer, Opeth right there. That's where those guys are going. And also another mask right there. I got the Haunted mask, also from Goosebumps. Speaking of Goosebumps, those are my Goosebumps collections right there. I don't have very many. I used to have a whole lot of them, and then I lost them when we were having issues with the house here. So I've been slowly rebuying those guys right here. This is like a Transformers section right here, and then also with Big Three of Horror and Ash right here, and a Xenomorph as well. So Freddy, Jason, Michael. Alright, I don't want to spend too much time on this. It's late, so I'm just kind of going through it as quickly as possible. Because I really just wanted to show my creation right here, and really just kind of express how grateful I am for my friend that really helped me find that strength back in myself that I needed to not just think that my ideas are bigger than me. I think that's what brought the writer's block on, is just my belief that my ideas were bigger than I was capable of getting out. Doubt, basically. And I think that's like something that affects most like writers. They doubt their work, you know, so it took a while, but I'm past it, I'm over it, and I'm moving on, and hoping to eventually get something solid going with this draft. So, a couple figures right here. These are my favorite triple changers behind them. So we got Blitzwing and Astro Train right there. We got Gambit and Rogue Bus right there. We have two Gremlins right there from Gremlins 2. And you got Star-Lord right there. Couple Funkos in the case right there. Those are pretty awesome display pieces right there. It just helps that display look a lot more cleaner now that I have that there. And I'm going to have one more over here by the desk. That is Arnie and Conan right there poster. I do have a lot of mini posters. They aesthetically feel better to me than a big poster. I have some big posters, but I have a lot of more mini posters. And then we got a vintage Crypt Keeper, Gwen Stacy Spider-Gwen doll right there. Arnie Terminator VHS right there. We're going to move right up here, actually. So that's my Jurassic Park sign right there. That is a Universal Monsters display from Walmart when they were re-releasing the Universal Classic Monsters on DVD. I got that from a friend of mine that was going to be throwing it out. He saved that for me. So what we got right here is a Giganotosaurus from Jurassic World Dominion. And then we have the T-Rex here, Rexy, Hammond Collection. We have a Blockbuster sign right there with the Dinobots right there. My favorite Transformer group, aside from the Constructicons, of course. And then we have the Spider Mohawk NECA with the Mogwais from Gremlins 2 and Rambo Gizmo. And a couple other little displays there. So we got my movie section right here now. So first off, we got Arrow right here. I alphabetized these movies by company and year of release. And then also in front of them, we had a couple figures right here. This is like a Masters of the Universe section that I got going with a little bit of multiverse kind of mixed in. So Frank Langella Skeletor from the 87 Skeletor movie. Griff from Back to the Future Part 2 on hoverboard. Dolph Lundgren He-Man, 87 Masters of the Universe. I would call this the vintage Two-Face from the Shatner. The one that Shatner voiced in the animated Two-Face Adam West movie. And then that's Lobo from DC. So right over here, a few more arrows, a couple Goosebumps figures, Xenia Warrior Princess from The Simpsons, Chameleon from Spider-Man, White Ranger. Behind this is the Blue Undergrounds. Right over here is Criterion, Funko Godzilla, Funko John McClane, Flirkin Goose from Captain Marvel in Bucks. This is 88 Films right here, as I said. Right over here, we got Grindhouse releasings. Right here, my Kino Lorber section, and also my Indicator section as well. And then right over here, what we got is Paramount Scares with Rumpelstiltskin. Right over here, Shout Factory section right here. With the Alien Queen and Ellen Ripley. Aliens is my second favorite movie of all time. Number one being Back to the Future. I have a few different Back to the Future displays that you'll see. One that's going to be going into detox, so you don't see that one. Oh, and I did mention Back to the Future because I mentioned Marty Jr. So moving on, Casper Funkos right here. Second Sight Films, Tarman from Return of the Living Dead. That is Trauma. That is Synapse. No, not Synapse. I think like Television. Terror Vision. That's Terror Vision. Okay, so moving on down here. Stay Puft Marshmallow Man with a facehugger alien in container. We got Umbrella releases right there. Next to some figures right there. Another Ellen Ripley. Right over here, what you got is Vestron. And right over here, what you got is Vinegar Syndrome. And down here, a few more different vinyls right here. So this is Greatest Hits collection there. Greatest Hits collection right there. Miles Davis and Sinners album right there. Okay. What you got here are the Beatles and the Shins right there. What we got right here is my Blondie and Billy Idols. Right over here, what we got is my David Bowie Iggy Pops. Right over there, we got Pink Floyd. Down here, what we have is Bon Jovi and the Killers. And then also right there, you got Dokken Right over here is the Donnas. Right here we got Halsey. Right there is essentially kind of like a mix of like 80s and 90s. So much better having this organized the way it is right now, to be honest, because everything just has its place now. And now I feel like I got like vinyls kind of going around me, which I like. I like that aesthetic. Okay, so here we got the contrast of the old with the new, which is the best way to see this Superman movie. So Richard Donner Superman, fourth favorite movie of all time after Kill Bill, The Whole Bloody Affair, because this is the blueprint for how to do a superhero movie, basically. And then what James Gunn did in 2025 was to give us a Superman movie that continued off of that. So you got a reboot, but it was not the origin, because Gunn knew we already know the origin of Superman, so he jumped right into the action and created this beautiful world of Superman, which I am grateful for. And then that is Carl Urban as Dredd right there next to them. So as I said, a few more Back to the Futures. That's a Doc Brown right there. That is the Man-Bat from Batman the Animated Series. Another Gremlin right there, Stripe. Some vintage figures right there. Skeletor mask. At Walker. My Stephen King collection right here. Optimus Prime popcorn bucket head. Another Stephen King section down there. And harder to tell, but just a bunch of like collectibles, my weights. Some scripts right there. Or a script for The Exorcist. And just some like film studies books right there. And those are scripts right down there. So right over here, what you got? A couple other little guys here. So that is a ghost trap with the creep from Creepshow inside of it. That is a Crypt Keeper statue from Spirit Halloween with the Flasher Gremlin right there. My VHS of Back to the Future. Back there is a Tom Atkins figure from Night of the Creeps. That is Crypto and Goose inside of a Superman popcorn bucket. And right back there behind the movies, that is the Barnes & Noble Classics collection right there, and it extends down. So it goes soft cover and then hard covers right there. That's the Thing hand from the Addams Family right there, and Jessica Jones Q figure kicking down the wall, and Catwoman, of course. Photon gun right there, Ghostbusters, Toothless plush, shoulder plush, and a couple other little guys right there, and an Elvira NECA still in box that I did not open, and a couple little guys right here. My Jurassic Park Legacy Brachiosaur figure, which looks more of like a display piece than a toy. Autobot Matrix of Leadership, Retro Skywarp and Thundercracker. Really awesome Funko Back to the Future. The hoverboard chase sequence, I really like that. And it just fits right there. A couple little figures right there. Tales from the Crypt VHS tape right there. Jeff comic right there. Soundtrack collection right here. The ones that aren't on the Banger album section right there. Tobey Maguire Spider-Man from a vinyl that I framed. Another commissioned piece for Freddy's Nightmares right there. That's an ad for the Tales from the Crypt VHSs that they sold. The repackaged VHSs. So, another little reference book section right there. Another section that extends down there. Okay, so soundtracks right there. And then these guys right here. Mondo soundtracks right there. Trading cards section right there. Another mask in a Jaws popcorn bucket. And that is the Shelf Talkers of Bart and Bavis. Alright, and then a couple of big magazines that did not go in the magazine section. With the magazine section right here. So that's a different display that I swapped out right there. Linda Blair mask from The Exorcist. Wolfman mask right there. Frankenstein mask right there. And a couple of magazine stacks right there. So what we got right here are my NECA Ninja Turtles right here. Quint from Jaws. Hooper from Jaws. Couple reference books right there for movies. Cinescape magazines right there. Art of Marvel right there. Comics. So we got Captain Marvel, Spider-Gwen, Miss Marvel, and Doctor Strange kind of in here. And then right down there, we got some Venom comics. Spider-Man's are going to be on the inside there. And also Avengers on the inside. So I doubled those ones up as well. And then right here by the Soundwave mask, that is Ash versus Freddy versus Jason versus Ash. And also my really cool display right here that I love, which is my Leatherface and Pinhead bobbleheads next to a Las Vegas sign that I got from Vegas on my 40th birthday. That just made a really awesome display piece the way I had that set up right now. So I really enjoy having that there. My Thing mini poster right here. Channing Tatum as Gambit. Linda Carter Wonder Woman right there. Right over here. A couple little vintage pieces right there. DVDs. TV shows that I kind of grew up on. Goosebumps, X-Men. Briscoe County Jr. right there. Some Funkos that's still in box. Concert DVDs right there. Right here. EC Comics collection right there. Not complete, but working on that. And then that is a Halloween 3 pumpkin that does the Silver Shamrock songs from Trick or Treat Studios. And then just another section of magazines right there. Those are scripts right there. Screenplays are behind that. And then right there are reference books for art. My art reference books, like graphic novel art. Okay, moving forward over here. Ooh. Hey, Roxana. So what we have here are my steel books right here. A few more DVDs right here. Some horror stuff right here. Couple little more odds and ends of Shout Factory here. As you can tell, I have a really big Shout Factory selection. That's the company that got me into boutiques. It's really sad that they're no longer functioning per se. They kind of just got engulfed into a bigger corporation. So best of luck to them. They inspired me to get more into boutique collecting movies. That's my vinyl player right there. Jeff Plush right there. That is a Donna's photo from one of the vinyls that I got right there. So that goes right there. My small little tape collection. And my vinyl player right there, which does CD, Bluetooth, tape, vinyl, radio, all of that. So that is my Ghostbusters plasma collection, Biff from Back to the Future, and the Alien, a few more of the Alien collections right there. And then that's Ned Flanders from The Simpsons wearing nothing at all. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. Stupid sexy Flanders. Okay. And then a couple little superhero mixes right there of DC and Marvel. And the Greta Gremlin right there from Gremlins 2. Adam West, my favorite Batman. Keaton. Adam West would be my second favorite Batman. Keaton would be my first. Okay. And in case you can't tell, that's a better angle right there. That is Christopher Reeve Superman telling Heath Ledger Joker no. And that is Melissa Blanquest as Supergirl from the TV series. And then Storm right there. And then here we got Indiana Jones, Kraven the Hunter from Spider-Man, the animated series. Power Rangers right here. Green Ranger about to be he's about to get face to face with a face hugger. So he's about to have a really personal experience with a face hugger. We got Cobra Commander from G.I. Joe, Cosmo from Guardians of the Galaxy, Devil Face Scream, NECA. Okay, and here we got Dennis Nedry and the Dilophosaurus right there. Some Transformers here. Yondu and Flash Gordon right there. John Kassir from the Oils Well That Ends Well episode of Tales from the Crypt, the outro, where John Kassir was in the episode and the Crypt Keeper was making reference to him being an awesome actor. Optimus Prime, Transformers, Sound Blaster, Megatron, and then Thor in Ravager clothing. And then these Transformers here are Thrust, Coronation Starscream, Galvatron, and some of the Insecticons. And then that is a film cell of Megatron from the Transformers DVD that came from Rhino DVDs. So that is pretty old. But I framed that one to keep it mint. And a couple little displays of Jurassic Park here. Therizinosaurus, the Jurassic Park Explorer, with the Simpsons inside. You can see Bart right there. Homer's at the wheel. And then you got a Rock Candy Michael J. Fox right there as Marty McFly. Okay. And then those figures right there. A few little odds and ends down there. Marty and Doc, Back to the Future 3. Billy Zane as the Collector in Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight. Pennywise 3 Deep. Friday the 13th 3 Deep. Denise Richards from Wild Things. My CWR production Mancave sign right there. And a couple little guys right there. Coffee maker right there and the cat food. A couple little books in my to read section right there. Those are kind of like the classics that I set there. We have Kodos plush right there from The Simpsons. He is wearing a Jurassic Park hard hat and holding onto a Spider-Man mask. Underneath that is my Italian Giallo collection right there. And right here are more Studio Ghibli's. And then also Sword and Sorcery. That's what that section is. Because right over here, which we got, is my Blaxploitation section right there. Chinese Kung Fu. And some comics that are in my to read section. With the Nate mask from Creepshow. Helen Slater Supergirl right there. Schwarzenegger Last Action Hero right there. Couple little figures right here. Captain America Brave New World Shield Popcorn Bucket. Medium-sized camp counselor costume from Friday the 13th from Spirit Halloween. And my vintage Andrew Garfield Spider-Man from back in 2012 when... No, that would have been 2014 when Amazing Spider-Man 2 came out. Because that's when I moved back from Vegas to California. That was my last night at Regal in Vegas, basically. I got that from the claw machine there. And beside that is a face hugger right there. So yeah, that is from 2014 right there. And then a couple little guys right here. Funko Michael Keaton right there with Captain Planet. Tales from the Crypt DVDs. Tales from the Crypt Keeper DVDs. And Universal Classic Monsters right there. And a couple little figures right there. Fairy right there. Gal Gadot Wonder Woman display piece from Walmart. When I worked for Regal, I never got a standee, so this is as close to a standee as I was going to get, because that's from Wonder Woman 84. Part of a Doritos display that was getting thrown out. So I took the piece I wanted, and I brought it home. Mutilator poster. Again, Sienna Shaw, Laura Lavera, Terrifier. The iconic Alien movie poster as a postcard right there. Some concert tickets. My best friend Danielle, who went to me for the Collective Soul concert. RoboCop telling us to say no to drugs, to keep the streets clean. Ray Parker Jr. with the Ghostbusters right there, minus Ernie Hudson. That's from the Ghostbusters music video right there. That's a fun picture. I really like that. So I keep that right there. And then these are just a couple, like my 4K section right here, basically. And then a few more figures right there. My Chargers, Plush Freddy, newspaper article, Ghostbusters right there. Rocketeer figure, Jason Lives, Funko, NECA. Tom Hardy Bane facing off with Jason Lives right there. RoboCop with Ghostface mask. Pete Venkman and Spangler Funkos. Thanos facing off with Ellen Ripley, Aliens in the Power Loader. A few more little figures there. My tool rental sign from Home Depot, and I currently work as a cashier at Home Depot. The sign was being thrown out because they had changed it out for a new one. I kept it for myself. Sign for Camp Crystal Lake right there. Friday the 13th. My Spider-Man No Way Home Funkos. And a couple other Funkos in box. Just a random assortment. And some shot glasses for Back to the Future and Gremlins. Reference book section right there. Danielle behind that. That's Funko Stranger Things right there. That's Max. And then that is from the Adam West Batman movie from 1966. So that's Lee Merriweather as Catwoman, Frank Gorshin as the Riddler, Burgess Meredith as Penguin, Cesar Romero as the Joker. My coffee mug collection right there. Moving up this section of posters, which also extends right over here to the fog, are my border posters. So you'll see like the little white borders around them. Aesthetically, these feel like they needed to be together right there. So Dawn of the Dead, Batman 66, Evil Dead. And then that is a Spirit Halloween sign for Annabelle. And a Crypt Keeper art print from Frankensons. And then up there is my They Live mini poster right there. Avril. My Tarot sign right there. My Dad on a Horse. And then Wonder Woman art print right there. My hat collection right here. Red Sonja poster right there. Universal Classic Monsters, NECA's right there. Only difference is that is the April O'Neil Bride of Frankenstein. And then Pennywise is also there with my hats. And Frank Gorshin as the Riddler. That's my friend Brittany right there with John Kassir, voice of the Crypt Keeper right there. It was really awesome that she got to meet him, so I kept that picture for myself. since I've never been to a Comic-Con, but one day I hope to go to one. So these are the Arrow slip books that they put with their movies that they basically commission and print. So I take them out of my Arrows and I put them over here to read the books so they're not in the movies themselves. And it also just saves me space having it over here as opposed to in the chunky boxes. Curse of Michael Myers NECA, Hammerhead from Spider-Man, and an anime girl from my friend Andy. Little trade paperback movie tie-ins right here. That's the movie tie-in section right there. Danny DeVito Penguin. Retro Shredder from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Wolverine, Rogue, and Gambit figures right there. Some CDs right there. That is my Area 51 license plate right there. Area 51, that is from a place called the Mega Mart in Las Vegas that my friend Sabrina took me to. So that was for my 40th birthday. That was a really awesome experience. I am forever grateful that Sabrina did that for me because that was the most fun that I've had like in my life, going through that escape room essentially. So that was fun experiencing that with her. That is a Thriller Michael Jackson commission poster from Gutter Garbs. Okay, moving over here. Oh. So that is essentially one of those vintage McDonald's liners that they used to put their trays on for the hat that tied into Jurassic Park release from 1993. It's a clean one that I got off Amazon, eBay. So I framed it and put it right there as a display piece. Some Transformers figures right there. This is for like more recent releases. So you'll see like Death of a Unicorn, Oppenheimer, Civil War. Like this is where like my recent release movies go in this section right here that are not boutique labels. Right here, we got some Kevin Smith DVDs right here, and also Big Hero 6 right there, and a couple other DVDs, a few steelbooks, and some Warner, Paramount, and Universal releases right there. So moving on right over here, mini poster, Captain America vs. Avenger, Chris Evans, Billy Zane as the Phantom right there, vintage Freddy Krueger sign for Nightmare on Elm Street from Spirit Halloween, Charmander with my Gizmo hat from high school, Mario hat right there, washer dryer right there. These 3D glasses right here are from one of my favorite podcasts, Movie Dumpster. They review movies and such. This is from a Patreon video that they did where they watched Freddy's Dead with their audience. They were giving these 3D glasses away to people that requested them. I requested it and had them sign it for me. So I will forever have that on my washer dryer because Movie Dumpster is awesome, and I'm glad Sean and Joe did that for me. Okay. My other friends, some of my friends right there. Sonia, Electra, Danielle, Sabrina. These women, they inspire me to be the best that I am, and I'm grateful for my other friend that just reminded me that I am worth so much more than I give myself credit for. A couple little movie magnets right there. Okay. Hey, Roxetta, what you doing? Okay. Wild Things poster from Arrow. Avril movie music poster right there. Ad for Let Go. Tom Petty right there. So right here, what we got is vintage He-Man, vintage Skeletor, Bane from DC, Wreck-Gar from Transformers, and Venom all facing off right there with Captain America in the middle. Okay, so that's my Avengers Infinity War poster right there. A few more Shout Factories right there. So Night of the Creeps from the unrated Blu-ray release. Return of the Living Dead, Ash vs. Evil Dead. That's from a prop place that's no longer open in LA area called Icons of Darkness. And then Bride of Chucky commission poster, Bubba Hotep commission poster right there, and a couple little plushies right there. Speaking of plushies right here, so what you got is Ash, Captain Marvel, Enid from Wednesday, Marty, and Spider-Gwen. And a couple little figures right there still in box for that display. And then, RoboCop poster right there. Shadow box for Back to the Future right there. Jim Carrey the Mask. My favorite Transformer group, the Constructicons. Always facing off with them Dinobots. A couple of the Arrow lobby cards that they do that I put together into a collage. Laurie and Michael from Spear Halloween Canvas. Batman Forever track list from the vinyl that I put right there. Jim Carrey as the Mask. Ozzy Osbourne, Bark at the Moon. Okay. Alright, we're at the tail end now, and this is going to be under 2 hours. Perfect. So that's Elvira Haunted Hills right there. Commission poster, Shout Factory. Avro from the vinyl. Commission poster for The Thing with the cast. My face hugger right there. My striped gremlin from Trick or Treat Studios. The mini poster for Gremlins 2, which is awesome. And my Bates Motel sign right there. Gremlins 2, I had that as a VHS when I was a kid, and I wore that down. And that's why I keep that mini poster with Stripe right there. And then that's Nemesis Prime right there with Brothor. So we'll go right here. So that is Reservoir Dogs, Mr. Blonde right there. Iconic poster, and I really like that quote right there. That is a random Hansel and Gretel poster from when I worked at Regal. I kept that one, and that just reminds me of working at Regal, basically. Like one of the few posters I have from Regal that reminds me of working for that company, which was awesome. I miss those days. Okay, so Commission RoboCop 2. Kiki's Delivery Service mini poster right there. Danielle, Sonia, Electra, Sabrina. Me outside of a vintage theater in Whittier. Couple mini posters here. So we got Schwarzenegger, Halloween 4, Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984. These three posters, I aesthetically like how they look together. It just feels right there. Couple figures right there. That is my Star Fox mask that I used to do like singing videos when I was singing. Yeah, so that is just Star Fox, Legendary Outlaw. Yeah. Yeah, so that I just feel nostalgic for right there. And a couple little comic odds and ends right there. Movie Dumpster podcast playing right there. Red Rex from Jurassic Park right there. Vintage Tales from the Crypt poster from a VHS release right there. I believe that would be from a VHS store, like a reprint, basically. So 8x10 Freddy, Arnold, Melissa Bonquist, Supergirl, Demolition Man, Super Mario, Tank Girl, Inglorious. A couple little guys here and there. Okay. That is my Trick or Treat Studios Mohawk and Dancing Gizmo right there. 80s classic movie monsters trading cards from classic Universal Monsters trading cards from a Blu-ray release. Indiana Jones, Harrison Ford. That is my Predator Badlands popcorn bucket. Couple more of those Walmart displays right there that a friend was able to snag for me before they got thrown out. Vintage theater poster for Hunger Games Catching Fire when I was working at Regal. Another vintage typo negative Bloody Kisses poster from the release of Bloody Kisses, so that is probably worth some money. Alright, so I'm losing my voice. We are done, and I got this done in under 2 hours, which is perfect. And then I missed this the last time because it was from the other end of the Brachiosaur. So that is my Daffy prop from Trick or Treat Studios. That's my Shao Kahn mask popcorn bucket right there. And my Vintage Dream Warriors VHS right there. And that's a perfect note to end on. So yeah, I am truly grateful for my place right here. Everything is just aesthetically where I want it to be. I am grateful to have my creative juices flowing again with my ideas. Having better access to my desk now is going to make a difference in my writing because it's going to be more organized. And yeah, I got to fix this right here because the cat's knocked over John Nada. Michael Myers mask right there. So that goes like that right there. Perfect. Alright, guys. Well, and I just wanted to end this by saying, listen to your friends. Listen to your friends when they tell you how much you mean to them. Because when they can be honest about how you truly inspire them and what they mean to you, that's something special. That is really something special right there. And I'm really grateful to my friend that helped me reconnect with a piece of myself that I have been missing for a while. So thank you. Alrighty. Peace.